Hello, good evening to the Thursday night show with Richard, Ange, and Emerson. A warm welcome, part of Canafodder TV. Good evening, Richard. Good evening, Emerson. How are you both?
I'm good.
Good evening. I'm good too.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else want to talk?
Right.
Well, I'm letting Ange host, so.
Okay. Right, we'll start with the FA Cup fourth round. Arsenal women versus Leeds. What did we think of the game? Other than it was a goal fest.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose being up against Leeds, a League One team, you going into it, you were expecting an Arsenal win and it to be a reasonably comfortable win. But I don't think anyone expected it possibly to be as easy as it actually was, because Leeds didn't have a shot on target or off target. They only had 19% of the possession, and and I think we had like 36 shots with 21 on and 81% of the possession. So it was it was surprising we were that dominant. I don't know.
Yeah,
regarding the match itself, like Richard said, it was a bit one-sided, as we know that Leeds are in the third tier, of ladies football, and we was expecting a goal fest. Despite there was a lot of changes in the team as well, as from the other night when they played Aston Villa, which we was expected to see, thing like that. So it was good all-round performance, good crowd as well. That turned out just under 2,500, thing like that, which I didn't expect to see. But looking at the pictures from what I saw, thing like that, it was packed all around. All three areas of the ground was packed, except for the main stand part on the right-hand side of where the camera was showing. You did see a few empty seats, but that was probably just for like friends and family that they kept separate. Okay. All round, we're through to the next round, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, what was your probably your favourite goals? Because there were some beauties in there, weren't there?
There were, but it's hard to choose because most of them were all close range within the 18-yard box. So I don't think any of them were outside the box. I couldn't pick a goal out of those 9 myself. But if you had to pick one, I would say Victoria's one. It was good to see her on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, but Victoria Pelova, the new Dutch.
Yeah, one of our new signings. Yeah. I mean, for
me, you, Ange, did you have a favourite out of those?
Yeah, young Michelle, really brilliant to see the youngster come on. I'd liked her cameo in I can't remember which game it was now, where she was brought on. Well, it really was a cameo appearance. And I just had a feeling about her. She took her chance, and I was just really, really pleased for her.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pelova's one, but I thought the Misha Aguimon's one was just the fact that she brought it down in that box, and it looked so composed, calm and composed for somebody so young, which was probably that stood out.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I wasn't expecting that scoreline after the first half, 3-0 up at half time. I wasn't expecting us to go and then sort of pile on another 6 goals. It's something that I like seeing if you've got a team on the ropes and you've got them like that, finish them off. It's something that with the men's team that used to happen when you had Henry and Burkamp there. If they had a team on the ropes, they'd finish them off, and we haven't seen since. And it's something I always cry out for. But it was nice to actually see the women actually do that. They didn't let up. They just kept applying the pressure and kept taking their chance as well, which I was quite which I was quite pleased with.
Yeah, no, a good match. We'll talk about the fifth round a bit later. Back to the new signings for the women. So we've got Canadian goalkeeper D'Angelo. We've got Palova, Dutch midfielder Carl. I don't know how you pronounce her name. She's Danish, isn't she?
Yeah, cool. I think, but I'm not. I'm not hot on. I'm just going from sort of like Kralov, the fantasy film. So I'm assuming it's very similar in pronunciation.
And of course, we got.
I think it's Catherine Cool, as we pronounce it. I'm not sure. Thing like that, how they pronounce it in Danish, but I think it's cool. But I think you just don't think add the KU, but you don't announce the HL or something like that. But something stupid. But I'm sure if we've got a Danish fan, they can tell us.
Yeah, any Danish fans, please let us know. Sorry if we mispronounced.
Well, I might message my mate. His wife, who's a physio, is Danish, so I might get them to tell me. Yeah. I'll do that.
Gio back from loan. I was really impressed with her in the first half. I think she, once again, I do love a Brazilian player. I'm quite biased. Yeah, I think she's got something she's really going to bring to the table, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, it was nice to see Beatty get on the score sheet as well. Which is, and it was nice to see her get some game time too as well. So overall, I think we had a good look at some of the new players and bedded them. I think it was a nice game to sort of give them a run out. And give them a bit of confidence and a bit of match time going into what's going to be a tough part of the season.
Very much so. And something else I want to bring up, which caused
Also, guys, I'm not sure if you saw it after the match. I've been told that Sabrina, when she came out, even for the warm up, they started to sing a song about her, and she was very impressed with the Arsenal fans sing that song. It was the tune, to the Saliba tune.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone saw that.
No.
That Leeds lady trying to whip her shirt off when she was with Leah Williams, which amused me greatly because Leah was very polite and said, "Oh no, you're all right."
I think she did get the shirt in the end. It was just
yes.
But it was just not right at that time. She wasn't.
Yes,
which is fair enough. There's a time and place, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely. Just right. That amused me. But I just want to go on to, because we've had it all with the men's and transfer season. Thank God's come to an end. Deadline day, as in 5 p.m. for British players, we shall say. And of course, a bid of nearly, I've been told by BBC and yourself, Emerson, of 500,000.
Yeah,
it was second bid, apparently.
Yeah. I think the first one was round about 450, wasn't it? It was only just over the one that Barcelona paid Chelsea for Walsh. But the information I got was the first one was 450, and then of course, the second one, as you've alluded to, was 500,000, which you've got to think. I mean, we're getting closer to that. Trevor Francis million pound transfer, which was a record for a British player in the men's game all the way back. So, and the women's game is getting looks like it's heading that way, which it can only be good for the game. And it's a shame we didn't, but it's understandable why Man United didn't agree to it. I mean, as I think we talked about it, and it was I think it's a double-edged sword. If they drop out of the Champions League places and they don't win the league, they're going to look very silly. But if they win the league and qualify for the Champions League, automatically it's going to look like a brilliant decision. I mean, what do you think about that, Emerson?
I agree. I would agree with you regarding the fee. As I said, we open up the bid of 400,000. I'm not sure about the 450,000, but I'm certain it went up to about 500,000. But nothing was said whether it was or not. But as I said, like you said, regarding ladies' transfer fees, it's spiraling to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Imagine if Arsenal sell Leah Williamson, how much would she be worth? I can say she'd be worth approaching near enough $1 million, 750,000 at the most. If Arsenal was going to want to put more, they would say $1 million, you can have her. But it's only one of the big clubs in Europe that will snap her up. It was either going to be Barcelona or Lyon. They're the only two clubs that she'll go to if she ever leaves Arsenal. But personally, I don't think she'll leave. Because if she loves Arsenal, she will stay at Arsenal for life, and that's it, and see out her career at Arsenal if she stays injury-free.
Yeah, totally agree on that. That takes me back to Russo. All right, let's say it doesn't happen for Man U. They'll probably get Champions League, and there is a chance that they could be top of the league. We don't know yet, but I still think it'll be Chelsea personally. But if she's going to move and she wants to stay in London, I could see her going to Chelsea personally.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is that she's now in the period where those foreign clubs, the Lyons, the Barças, can go and talk to her and agree a contract with her. So it puts us and Chelsea, because we're not allowed to talk to her. It puts us at a slight disadvantage. All we've got to hope is that she waits till the summer, and then we make those noises in the before the summer transfer opens, and we can get in over the line, or get somebody else in, because at the end of the day, what's happened with Mia Dima and Mead shows that we can't have our eggs all in one basket, because they've got 66% of our goals last 6% goal contributions last season were from them too. So that's what we're missing now. That's what we've got to make up with the players we've got. And I do think we, from a mate of mine, we just couldn't get Lyon to move on their position with their striker. Was it Brun or Berg? I can't remember the last name.
Brun.
Yeah.
BRUNN.
Yeah. So and we kept badgering away, but they were just not having any of it. They wanted to keep. They loaned her to United last season, but they weren't interested in doing anything late on this season, which is a shame. But
well, we got the players we got.
yeah, I mean, do you think it was a little bit short-sighted that we didn't go earlier in the window for another striker?
Well, for me personally, I think me and Ange talked this a few weeks back, and we was laughing and joking about it. I'm not sure if you watched the follow-up to it, Richard, and things like that. As I said, we were laughing to say that she would never sign for Arsenal, never sign for Arsenal. And I said to Jack Ange in the chat during the week that thing like that she's thing that Arsenal are putting a bid for her, thing like that, and we look interested, thing like that. But as I said, if she didn't want us to come, she must have a reason, or she's waiting for the summer to come along before the World Cup and see where she's going to go from there. If she doesn't come to Arsenal or Chelsea, as I said, the only two obvious clubs that she can go to in Europe are Barcelona and Lyon, because now Lyon have got an old team and they're looking for new blood as well. So PSG are the teams to watch in France. As I said, Wolfsburg is the team to watch in Germany. I don't think she'll go to Germany. So Lyon and Barcelona would be the teams to look out for if Arsenal staff Russo up in the summer.
Yeah, because she was in America, and she has been quite a bit of a wanderer in her young career so far, hasn't she? It was, I think, she in America. It was through college football. She was over there on the scholarship or something, wasn't she? One of the colleges, and she played over there, and then came back, and I can't remember if it was what the other country she was, but she's been played in two or three countries before now, so it's quite an interesting journey she's had. And she might be one of these nomadic footballers that you get that like to travel from country to country, and so we'll never know. We won't know until the summer.
Yeah, that's it. So we're not going to pin our hopes on her. If she ends up with us, that'll be a lovely surprise. Next. Richard, I was going to say, have we got anyone in chat? I'm not going to.
Yes, I am just going to.
Oh, English conversation. Good evening.
Evening, English. How are you? He's a regular.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey, First Lady Ange."
Oh, bless.
We've got Mohammed Hassan. Okay, good evening, everyone. Evening, Mohammed. I think I don't think you've commented before, but it's nice.
Nice to see you.
To see you and appreciate the support.
Evening to the guys in the chat as well, because I'm just looking at myself on my other phone while I'm on live on air. So bear with me, something like that. Right, if I'm not talking directly live to you guys, face to face.
Yeah, me and Ange were talking about this off air. Yeah, it's been dropped, and he'll get his career back on track. Unfortunately, this will probably stay with him no matter where he goes. It'll take a long time for it to go away for him, but he'll get on with his career, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the best we can say, because we really can't comment, because we really don't know.
Exactly. It's a hot topic, so nothing to talk about on that one. So we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah, we'll leave that for people who are close and know what the situation is. English conversation. What can we expect from the Arsenal women's team this season? Can they win the league?
Ooh.
Yes, I think we can win the league. Will we? Is the thing. I mean, look, we're 3 points behind and a game in hand. So it's going to be tough, and we've got to do it without Beth Mead and Mia Dima. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the hard way. But we've got plenty of quality there. You've got Ford, you've got Marnoon. But if Blackstenius finds a rich frame of form, and you've got some interesting players that have just come in that will add creativity and goals. I mean, I love the look of Palova, and she seems to be really creative. She's not one you want in and around the box. She looks like she's got very close ball control, and you don't want her with a ball at her feet in the box because she's one that you're not going to want to tackle. But we'll see. I mean, I'm confident we can, and I think we could get at least a cup and do well in the Champions League. I think we can go at least to the quarter semis in that competition with a bit of luck. So I think it'll be a good season for us.
Well, on to me. Well, all I can say is, as I said, it's going to be a tough run-in now to the end of the season. All I can say is one of the teams, the three teams, has to slip up to give another team a chance or thereabouts. Regarding what position, still unclear myself where they're going to finish. Regarding the two cup competitions and the Champions League, the key to that is the draw, which I told Angela, which is next Friday, but we can discuss that in next Thursday show. Sorry, thing like that. So regarding the Continental Cup, I expect them to beat Man City, and regarding the FA Cup, of which all Arsenal fans are saying it was a big fix that we faced Chelsea early in the cup competition, of which I know one or two fans will be annoyed about it as well. I know one fan definitely will be annoyed. I mean, like that. He was hoping that we were playing in the final. Now we're playing in the fifth round. Makes it more harder. It'd be interesting to see what allocation Chelsea give Arsenal fans for that match at Kings Meadow. On that visit, it'd be very interesting. I know the ground holds less than 5,000. It'd be interesting to see if they give Arsenal about 2,500 to 3,000. It'd be interesting to see if they give them one. But we just have to wait and see when the tickets go on sale and if it's going to be on TV, like that. So if it goes on TV, that'd be even better. But then again, you've got the Carabao Cup final on the same day. So it's debatable. It's debatable whether that would be on TV.
Because the Carabao Cup will be Sky or
so Sky and ITV have both shown it, I think.
What, the Carabao?
Yeah, Sky. So BBC's the only option, but at the kick-off time, we're interested to see if it's before the Carabao Cup. That's fine, but if it's after, then it's a bit awkward. And plus, I looked at my journey to that Kings Meadow. There's engineering work, so it's a thing. So I may not even go to that game after all if it sticks to if it's an evening kickoff.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Sorry, FA Cup, they've got it down for 2 p.m.
So yeah.
And they to be advised who's going to show it.
Yeah, so they might adjust that.
Yeah. That could change.
I mean, for me, I think, you need a little bit of luck in the draw, but at the same time, you have to beat the best teams in the competition at some point. You've got to face them, and I'd rather face them early in the competition, maybe, than maybe in the final where we're prepared and
been there, done that one. Yeah,
it's a hard one. Whoever wins that tie is going to be the favourite for the whole competition.
Yeah.
But as I said, you were going to face them at some point.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Maybe it's better early in the competition, and you can get one over on them quick. So we'll see. I mean, we did well in the league against them. We conceded a late equaliser, but until that point, we'd actually dealt well with
Arsenal had held their own. I mean, it was lovely to go and see the match, but they definitely held their own.
I wouldn't hold too many concerns going into that tie.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be tight and tough, and you didn't just need a little bit of luck sometimes.
Yep.
And then we've got Evening Tired. How are you?
Tired. Boop, boop. Warm welcome for Emerson.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Oops, sorry. I'm just doing something on my phone. I'm just looking at the chat on my phone. Sorry. Go on. I can listen. I'm listening now.
Tired? Can't you see my halo? I never cause trouble.
A long time.
None of us do. What's your views on the Continental Cup draw then?
Again, I mean,
that's the 8th,
City's an interesting one. They're not the team they were last season, and I think again they're takeable.
Yeah.
What I would look at is what you're prioritizing and that I think will be told by what team he puts out.
Yeah, very much so.
Because I mean we know in the striking department we're slightly thin. He might prioritise one of the Champions League and the FA Cup and the league, but we don't know. He might try and go for 4. But whatever he does, he'll put out he'll put a team out with a view to doing as well as possible in it.
Yeah.
I mean, no manager puts out a team with a view to lose a match. It's just they'll put out a team that.
Sorry.
Yeah, they'll put a team out that's maybe they think that might get a result if they play at their best, rather than knowing that they can get a result and not have to be at their best. Alex is on, says hello to all viewers and panelists. Welcome to Cannon Fodder TV on Thursday Night Football Show. Thank you, Alex. Your support and time is always appreciated, and thank you for the chance.
Thank you, Alex. Too.
Yeah, sorry, just back to that Man City the Continental Cup one. That's on the 8th, and that's 7:15 p.m. And I'm just wondering, will they show that on Arsenal.com?
More than likely, they will.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's a useful platform to actually watch your games on there, and I also use DAZN on for the Champions League on YouTube. So that's
really nice.
That's a useful one if you can't actually get to matches for the Champions League to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we've also got an international break coming up. I've looked at the fixtures, and there's sort of between the 15th and the 26th. So it looks like there's nearly a 2-week break, I'm assuming that there'll be two international fixtures in that fortnight break for the women.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah,
I haven't seen anything on the on the internet saying what countries are playing which, but I'm assuming because there's a two week break, but it's an international break.
Yeah, do you know what? Stuff's been coming up on Instagram for the Lionesses again, and to be honest, I get so much football on Instagram now, and it was meant to be for photography, but that's another story, you know, you get sucked in next. So I need to pay attention. Yeah, I reckon the Lioness is going to be playing whoever else, so yeah.
Well, you know what? There's a match at Wembley. I think it's the England-Brazil game, the ladies' match. That's sold out. I think, but we can talk about that as we get near to the time about that one.
Yeah.
Leah,
but that won't be played in that international break. As I said, that's late. I think that might be just before the World Cup, or could be
that's one of the warm-up
time.
matches, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a few warm-up matches as well before they all go up. Because I think they leave 2 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks before the actual World Cup starts to acclimatise, with the time zone. Because, going to New Zealand, it's a long way, and jet lags will kick in very quickly, thing like that, because it's not an easy country to get over jet lag as well. So if they go 2 weeks beforehand, settle in, they should be fine.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to visit, is it, as well? Hi, tired from Alex.
Oh,
None of us are tired.
Yeah, Manchester United surely wouldn't let it go of Rousseau, our title contenders. Yeah, well, that was our general feeling. As I said, it's a double-edged sword. But they could have taken a world record fee and been without their top scorer.
Yeah.
And that might put them out of the title race and Champions League spots. But on the other hand, they might drop out anyway.
Yeah.
And then they're going to, and then they lose. Well, nothing if that happens, because there's always a chance that if they win the league and get into Champions League, that she'll sign a new contract with them. But there are risks there, and it's a brave decision. So, and we'll see how that pans out. I mean, I'd love to see her in an Arsenal shirt. I think she adds something different to what we've got.
But we shall see. Right.
Yes. We will see towards the end of the season.
Well, that's all we can do.
Yeah, anything's possible with Man United.
Yeah, both sides. Yeah, keep going. Oh,
over to you, Ange. Over to you. It's over to you. Next subject now.
Yeah, Australia and New Zealand being concerned about Saudi Arabia's being sponsors of the World Cup. Do you know the vast sums of money they will bring to the game? Is this good or bad? Yeah, sorry, I meant to take a note of this. Thank you for bringing that up, Ty. Yeah, Australia and New Zealand are not happy about this at all. And I don't blame them because of all the controversy that went on in the men's World Cup. And what are they called? Qatar. And there was a whole issue over human rights, certainly about being homophobic. And yeah, I can understand. All right, yeah, it's going to bring lots of money. But yeah, I can understand that from Australia and New Zealand's point of view. I wouldn't be happy with it.
I mean,
no, I wouldn't want it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what the fans and general public think. The sport governing bodies will look at this and think that sort of money into the game will help the game, and that's all we're looking at. And as fans, we've got to accept it as long as it does good. as long as that money is used in the right way and it helps a woman's game develop.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's all. I mean, we can bang on about human rights and bits and pieces, but let's be honest. I don't think there's a country in this world that can stand on the soapbox and say what you're doing is wrong, because at some point in their history, their own human rights has been poor, and I don't think there's a country that can say we haven't done things that we shouldn't be ashamed of.
Yeah, I'll see your point to a degree, but
So it's a little bit there's a little bit of hypocrisy. So okay, some of us have moved on, but you've got to remember places like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Qatar, and even the African nations as well. They're third world countries. They are behind the Western world in terms of advancement. So to expect them to be in a position ethically, morally, and the way they see their society and cultures is wrong. You can't expect that. You can ask what they and put and teach them and educate them that so that they don't make the mistakes we've made in the past, and that they become better. But you can't do anything else. And I mean, I'm sure there are lots of countries out there that still don't treat their people right. And there's a few in the Western world, but that's things we're not going to get into too much, because there's a whole holy hand grenade.
Well, my stance is I'd really prefer they didn't. I'm sure there's somebody else who can bring lots of money in, and it'll be more representative of the women's game. But
yeah, I mean, well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you've got to think, well, whatever country's going to put that sort of money in, you're asking, is it what you could dig up a dirt on any country?
Yeah,
America,
of course.
If America was doing it, I'm sure we could pick up plenty of things on the way they did their human rights and some of their ethical or unethical wars and bits and pieces. But as I said, it's a minefield. I think what we concentrate on as fans is the spectacle. Australia and New Zealand's going to be a fantastic place for the World Cup, and you're going to get a chance of having some real cultural experiences. You're going to have fantastic weather, and there's plenty to do in your downtime. So I'm looking forward to the spectacle, and if I had the money, it would be one that I'd go and watch. But I don't have that sort of money. It'd be nice just to spend a whole sort of 6 to 8 weeks just going around to any game you wanted, and then going and having a look at the cultural sites. Plus, I could do a little bit of family tree research. I know I've got family out in New Zealand somewhere, but when a great uncle went out in 1927, so it would be good to follow that part of the family tree down, but it's just not going to happen now. Not unless I sell a kidney or something.
Gosh, don't say that. Oh dear. Right, I think we more or less talked about everything with the women's game. I want to come on Mrs. Emerson's speciality onto Arsenal Academy, but I will state here and now, we're desperately trying, but we know so little about the young Arsenal female players. All I've got is women's under-16 FA Youth Cup, played semi-final. I can't remember who they played, actually, I didn't write that down, and they won 6-0, and it's Arsenal Man U final, and that's to be advised when. So looks like they've done very well in that, and that's as much as we know.
Exactly. Well, regarding the ladies' side of their academy, unfortunately, I don't know nothing about their players. Never watched them play throughout the season because no one knows where they play or anything like that. So it's a mystery of which youngsters will come through that academy in the next year or two, or could be longer. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next year or two. 1 or 2 comes through. As I said, I know nothing about the ladies' academy side. So who runs it, where they play, I haven't got a clue.
Emerson, I was discussing this with Ange yesterday. Actually, information, I don't know if it's the same for every other team, but for the Arsenal women, it is quite poor. If you look at the players page compared to the men's players pages and the academy players pages, all you get is a picture. There is no profile on there, and on the men's pages, if you click on the picture, you get the profile. You get all social media clips linked to that player, and then you get appearances, goals, assists, and a chart showing their Arsenal career. Yet they don't do that with the women's pages. How do you find?
I think that's a good point there. As I said, regarding the academy, as I said, they don't show any of the results, something like that. All they're interested in is the first thing, because obviously they're the ones who get paid. But with these academy players, I'm sure with the ladies ones, they don't get paid. And what age group they are, I haven't got a clue. So thing like that. So it's a bit disappointing not seeing their stats, something like that. But the only way you may be able to see that will be on Flash Score when Arsenal do play a match. And if there is a youngster that's on the bench, you might just see a name. You won't see a picture of her. You just see a name and a date of birth and her age, and that's it. And how many matches she's played, because I think none of the youngsters, other than that one who came off the bench last week, was the only one that I know of. Because there are 1 or 2 youngsters. They have got 1 or 2 youngsters that will come through. Because I think there was one who signed a new contract last season, thing like that. I'm not sure her name, but I think she signed last season, and she hasn't had a look in this season.
No, mind you, I think she's been injured, and I'm sure somebody said they saw her and she had some sort of boot brace thing on again. So been a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, I know with a men's academy, you go, the guy to go to is George Bird, and he's the authority on, because when I've done written articles for a site, and they were looking for information on certain youth players, I went straight to him and spoke to him, and he but there is no one on that side for the female academy that I'm aware of anyway.
No, we don't know.
It would be nice. I mean, I suppose I can put the feelers out and see. Ask around the people I know if there is, and see if we can get somebody who can give us a little bit more info on the female academy. But as I said, I mean, in general, the whole women's side of the on the media side and the information releases is slow and poor compared to what we get in the men's game, which is a shame, because I think the fans of the women's game would lap it up.
Yeah, I think so.
I would love to sort of a little bit more information. It gives you a way of connecting with those players, and you can watch those clips and those interviews and the bits and pieces, and you get to a little bit of to see a little bit of the more about the players. And anyway, it'd be nice to see if with injuries, how they're coming along, how long they're expected to be out, and bits and pieces like that as well. I mean, it can be frustrating as a fan. I'm sure you it's the same for. I assume it's the same for every other team out there as well. But
no, actually, a few of them, when I've been looking to look up, like, say, who we're playing, I haven't really done it this week for West Ham. But normally, some of their sites on the WSL, they're very forthcoming. And all right, maybe not the. I think actually, I'm going to do that afterwards. I think they do show their female players generally a lot better, and it could include the academy.
It would be interesting to see if it's just us or if it's a generic thing across the whole WSL. Maybe it's because they don't think there'll be the interest amongst the fans. But
that's it. But anyway, we don't need George Bear because we've got our resident Emerson, because you know lots of things about the academy.
Yes, they're good. Well, it's good to see that. Well, I'm sure you're aware, guys, that 4 of the academy players had left the club in the transfer window. 2 of them went to Derby, 1 went to Accrington Stanley, and 1 went to Hartlepool United as well. So it's sad to see them go. But listen to the coach's interview after the game, where they lost during the week against Burnley the other night, of which I didn't go myself. Thing like that, he said that he reckons he's got enough cover until the end of the season with the youngsters that he's got to see. So with these 4 that have gone out loan, I didn't expect them to go personally, because as I said, when I go to these academy matches, I do see a lot of scouts from other clubs. I don't talk to them myself. They know who they're looking for, things like that. And obviously, they have spoken to the manager, Mehmet Ali, before and after the game to see which players he can let release. But as I said, I would say good luck to these 4 that have gone out loan. And hopefully they'll come back more stronger than before. But all of them are over the age of 20, by the way. None of them are under the age of, say, 17. 20. So it was a good move.
We released Terry Clark back to Ipswich.
Yeah, that was the week before. We talked about that the week before. Me and Ange talked about that the week before. A couple of weeks ago.
From week, so really he's gone back home, hasn't he? So
and
he wanted that.
And I think we should talk about. I mean, last night with Balogun. He's top the league and scoring charts at the moment. He's gone 1 ahead of Mbappe with 14 goals and 1 assist. Mbappe's got 13 goals and 2 assists. So for his first season out in a top 5 league in the senior men's team, he's doing quite well.
Doing very well.
I mean, it gives Arteta a nice problem in the summer, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's what I'm looking forward to when the new season starts. Who does he drop, or who does he sell on?
Yeah, does he sell one, or does he loan who does he sell, who does he keep, or does he keep them both and just have depth in? It's an interesting decision for him to make. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if he goes on to score another 6 or 7 goals in league and his value is going to skyrocket, and you've then got to consider what does that sort of translate into the Premier League? Is it worth?
Yeah.
Is it worth? Will that? How does that translate to the English league? So, but they're the things that coaches and the management team. Did you see the hat trick? But either of you?
No.
Yes, I did. I did. Yes, I did. I watched that match, the last 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, I've seen extensive highlights. The first one was a penalty. The second one was a right-footed volley, and the third was a left-footed. I think it was more of a half volley than the volley, but it was still a good goal. But he had other chances in that match. I mean, from the highlights I saw, I counted he could have had 5 or 6. There were some block shots. There was one went over bar from a turn, and then a keeper made a couple of good saves as well. So so he could have had more, but the fact that he's getting these chances and he did get a hat trick, and I think that's his first hat trick in France as well this season. But he's scored quite a few penalties as well this season. Quite a few of those goals have been penalties. I'd be interested to see how many of those 14 have been penalties. But he's also scored some really nice goals.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it transcends back to the Premier League. Yeah.
Yep. I'm hoping he'll get a chance in pre-season. Pre-season would be the best test to see if he maintains that level of standard from once the French league ends. Then when pre-season starts, then they can go from there. Arteta can have a good look at them then to say, right, if you're good enough in France, show me what you can do in pre-season. So that would determine where he's going to go from there. And if he's got a squad number for next season, so be it. But as I said, he's got to leave one of the strikers out because Jesus will come back.
Yep.
And Eddie's on fire as well. So
that is
who knows what's going to happen? Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean,
let's have to wait and see.
If you're looking at it, I mean, both will fetch north of 20 million. So if you're selling one of them, you're going to get 20 million plus for either of them if they keep the form up that they show this season, which is good for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to see them succeed in the first team, but if they can't but bring in decent money, which will help the team in other areas, so be it.
I'll have Tammy Abraham next. Mercenary,
No chance. I don't want him. No chance. Ex-Chelsea.
I think.
Hello. Yeah, we do seem to get quite a lot of it. Oh no, but he basically Chelsea didn't want him.
Yeah. I think Chelsea beat Tottenham. Man United should beat Everton, but it's not a foregone conclusion. Teams can slip up, but I think Chelsea should beat Tottenham quite easily. Unfortunately, they're not. Tottenham are not quite at that level just yet. They're Chelsea are quite a few years ahead of them in where they are. I mean, we saw it when we played Tottenham, but unfortunately, they give it a good go, but they, in the end, that quality and class just told in the end.
Without doubt.
I don't know what you guys think.
Well, men regarding the fixtures this weekend, as I said, Chelsea will beat Tottenham with ease, I think. Man City, I'm not sure who they're playing. Man United, sorry. I'm not sure who they're playing, but I'm expecting.
It says Man United Everton, so.
Well, I expect it'll be close, but I still think Man United will edge that one. And us against West Ham away, I'll say, well, obviously Arsenal will win. I'll say by a few goals. I'm looking at 3-0, 3 or 4-0.
Yeah, I had it at either 3-0 or 3-1. Was what I was edging towards. And then we've got this from Tired as well. Is the fitness training for the same? I am not sure, but I don't think it would be. I think there would be. I think it would be similar, but I think there would be variations because of the physiology and the makeup, depending on the player. In the men's game, each men's training, personal training thing is different to another's, and that's based on how they're built, what part of the pitch they're playing, and what the coaching team thinks they need to work on. So somebody might look at somebody like Sambi and think he needs to work on his bulk and his physical fitness, and they might look at somebody like Gabriel and think he needs to work on his technical and his passing and bits and pieces. So with the training regimes and maybe his speed, so the training would be adapted to what the coaching staff needs for every player.
I mean, what was interesting, was when they were talking about the Leeds game, and the Leeds ladies, what did they do? Is it 4 hours?
Yeah, but you know the women's team, Arsenal women's team train, and we know that they train in the same. Use the same facilities as the men, and they train alongside each other. So you will, there will be players there, even though they socialise and think, there will be players there that are competitive and want to sort of do best, try and best each other. And these are professional sports people. To say that, they'll have little interpersonal personal comps to see who can do so many sit-ups or so many push-ups or who can do the sprint tests the best. It happens. You can't get away with it. I mean, I used to play boys up to under 18s rugby for the local team, and we always used to try and beat the men's players when we trained together, and you try to beat somebody's record in the same position as you, and it was just, well, it's just, if you've got that, it's just that sort of nature of sport. It brings out that sort of beast. But as I've said before about the women's game, I think the women's game is as technical, and the only thing that is missing from the women's game is the speed of the Premier League. But let's be honest, what league in the world is as fast as the Premier League?
Yeah.
So I think the technical abilities, if it's not better, it's on par with the Premier League. I personally think some of the women are technically better, and some of the men. So but I don't think and I've had this argument before, and I've brought it up on there. I've got a friend, and she's a HGV mechanic, and her dad's a HGV mechanic, and she can bench press 200 pound more than he can. They're both same jeans, both same size, but she just is more determined. She puts a lot more effort in, and she and that grafting when she on that side of things. So I think a lot of it's down to individuals.
But I think generally, certainly for Arsenal ladies, you've only got to see their physical condition, and yeah, they're going to do a different type of training, but they're certainly on par with the men's training regime.
Yeah, it will be tailored again, as I said in the men's game. I've looked at the FA training manuals because my son was doing a badge, and they specify you've got speed training, you've got physical training, and training for agility training, and all sorts. So, and you tailor a training session to an individual player. So you'll have those individual training sessions, then you'll have a team training session, and then you'll have your tactical breakdowns where they'll look at your last match, go through what you did well, what you could improve, what you didn't do so well, and what could you have done better in those situations. And then you'll have a team one where you look at the next opposition as well. So it's not only physical and fitness training. They're asking players to be mentally aware and be able to grow mentally as well as physically. So it's quite tough. That's why they get paid money, isn't it?
Regarding the academy side, exactly the same. The thing they train separate from the first team. But as I said, if Mikel wants one or two of the academy players to come into the first team, then he'll add them when they're ready. But as I said, their training regime's the same. But the difference regarding the academy, from what I've been told, is some of the academy players that are under a certain age have to do like an education, have to have education behind them. So they have to do some homework regarding the football side of it. So, like that. So it mentally drains them, but it's something they need to do, to help them prepare for the matches. But as I said, the first team, ladies team, they've got people that can help them out. As I said, they've got psychologists, things like that, who will help them if they've got a personal problem, thing like that. So they help them through, and mostly it works. And sometimes, if they've got family around them, that also helps. For instance, you know who I'm on about. I always give them a pep talk before each match, and things like that. And sometimes that works. So I look forward to seeing him play tomorrow if he's been selected, unless he's going to the Everton match on Saturday.
Well, that could be the thing.
We know. I don't know if you watched the academy one on YouTube.
Which one? The recent one. The recent one.
Yeah, the recent one.
What's it called?
What, that one against the recent one they played was against Burnley. That was in the Premier League.
I meant the documentary, the academy documentary.
Oh yeah. Oh, the hell's that was done. That was done about 2 seasons ago, I think.
Yeah,
but it's interesting to see. It was interesting to read what goes on.
they look after the welfare of the players, even if they're not going to make it in with Arsenal. They still look after them and do the best by them so that they can prepare for either another club or something else after that.
Yeah,
and
So
I,
one of my go on.
I thought that was quite an interesting thing, because it's not something that, as a fan, we would see. We would see how they try and help. It might not always work out, as I said, but I think, and I'm not sure if every academy does the same. I would hope every academy would act in the same way, but you never know. You can only go by what you've been shown on.
I think most of the big academies is very much about the welfare of the young players. I had a friend. This is years ago now, because he's younger than my daughter, so I'd say he's over 21 now. But he was at Harefield Academy. He went through Watford, and yeah, he was devastated when. Well, I'll tell you who he was with for a time, Jadon Sancho. Yeah, and he was devastated when he finally got released. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but I did see him recently, and he's still certainly keeping up his fitness level. You could see that, but quite what he's doing, I don't know. I need to message my friend actually, but I mean, bless, just like you're doing, Emerson. She ran into all the matches. She did as parents do. Yeah. I think she was more devastated than he was, to be honest with you. She really was. That was sad.
Yeah, onto the point regarding my so-called relative that plays for the Arsenal. Me and his great uncle was there speaking at the start of the season, and he asked me a question on WhatsApp. What would his great nephew do if his career was cut short at Arsenal? Personally, I haven't asked this relative of mine what he would do if his career was cut short, but as you said, Arsenal, will do their best to and help with their welfare outside the game if their career has been cut short. But touch wood, lucky enough, my cousin relative hasn't had much injuries this season, so he normally just bounces back and then goes and raring to go for the next match. That's what his dad's been telling me in the last few weeks. When match finishes, he has a rest for 24 hours before back at the training ground, doing some studying in the classroom, picks him up, takes him home, then next day goes for training as normal, then plays the match, thing like that. So
Emerson, is there? I mean, I know from my experience of, as I said, under 18 in rugby and stuff, but there were certain things we couldn't do training wise, or there was a limit to what we could do because of we were still growing. So
the training is still the same. This training is near enough the same, because, as I said, I'm not sure what his schedule is, every day, because obviously he doesn't tell me as much on the phone like he used to. But I presume, for instance, if he was going to play tomorrow, I'm certain he'll have Saturday and Sunday off, and then back in training on Monday, like that. Yeah. So then, as I said, there's a game again on Tuesday.
Yeah. What I was wondering is, because, as I said, when I was playing rugby, we weren't allowed to. There was only a certain amount of weights and that side of training we were allowed to do, because the bodies were still growing and they didn't want us to injure up or give ourselves permanent injuries while the bodies were still growing and adapting to what we would eventually become. Is there? Do they take that into consideration?
They do. As I said, thing like that. Obviously, when as I said, when they have a day off, it's not like the first thing. They will have like a day off. Most probably they'll come in, have a warm down, and then obviously the physios and medical staff will look to see if any of them are carrying any injuries from that match, something like that. And if they've been given the all clear, then as I said, they will just train later on and go from there. So things like that. So they don't think that it's not a strict limit where they can play like if they want to play every game like that. The manager will just rotate them as much as he can, whether it's the goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, strikers. He will rotate them like every other match. Like I'm certain tomorrow he'll pick his strongest team tomorrow because the team he played the other night was totally there was one or two unknown players that was in the squad that I've never heard of. And like that, it was other than the goalkeeper and Serchan, who was a Romanian midfield player. He was the only one I recognised. All the others were totally unknown to me because they completely changed the team. As I said, no one knew what was happening behind the scenes at the training ground, who's going to be going and who's going to be leaving. It was only later on after the transfer window had ended that I found out which players had left. Realised there was 4 players that had left, of which 4 of them, the 4, as I said, they're roughly about 20 years old, which is the right age for them to go on loan to show what they can do. And all I can say is best of luck to them and see what they're like when they come back next season, if they're going to keep them or they sell them on for a small profit.
Oh, we got another thing here, Tide Gunnosaurus. Will this year WSL be won on goal difference?
I think it might be important. I think it's going to be important.
Yeah.
I could see 2 teams, if not 3 teams, being tied at the top on the same points, and then just going down to goal difference quite easily.
Agree.
Yep.
But what places of the 3 is going to finish, no one knows.
I like this one from Tired. He's Aston Villa manager Carla Ward has won the manager of the month. Is that the right call, do you think? I like this. I'd like to see it in the men's game because there are times when you get nominees and you think actually you know where it's going. And it should, and you look at it and actually you've one of the other two should the third or fourth nominee should have actually won it, but because they're not maybe in a glamorous club and it's the same with manager of the season. You get to the end and you know generally that whoever wins the league is going to get it. Actually, I think if you look at take this season, if you look at Fulham's manager, you look at Nottingham Forest manager, if they survive and stay in the league, they should be highly considered because their jobs are completely different to what the top managers are, and they're working in within different constraints, and their targets are different. So it shouldn't always be the easy choice and the obvious choice. I think you look at he's won the league, that's fine, but say Cooper at Nottingham Forest, if he keeps them up with what they've had to, because they came into the league and they lost 20 odd players. I think they bought in 26, 27, but they lost a lot from loan. So he's had to pretty much a whole new team, a whole new squad. Pretty much, he's had to get in, try and get to jail. So he keeps them up under those conditions. I think that's a pretty fantastic job. But we know that whoever wins the league's going to be given it. And again, you look at the men's manager of the month who's up for that. I think you'll see one of the top, which is Arteta's up for it again. I think Howe's up for it as well, and
I would have thought
De Zerbi's up for it, and somebody else. And my thing is, I think De Zerbi or one of the others is quite deserving, and I like the fact that the women's game hasn't gone. Oh yeah, we'll go because it's just the top teams are doing so well, and they deserve it. They've gone actually on merit. Considering considering the different parameters, that's the best performing manager.
And it is good to see a female.
Yeah.
Month. Yeah, as much as I always vote Jonas, it's good to see a female manager.
Yeah, and I think it has to be fair and done on merit. Otherwise, it just becomes tokenism, doesn't it?
Well, of course, you could just keep voting forever, Hayes, couldn't you? But next.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's be honest. There's probably three managers you could who'd be month in, month out, and it's and it does need to be on merit.
Yeah.
I believe it otherwise it becomes a little bit of hypocrisy, and that's why I don't like the men's manager of the month or manager of the year sort of thing. It gets you look at it and you think, yeah, you know who's going to get that. Yeah, you know you can pretty much guarantee who the nominees are going to be before manager of the year or month in the men's league, and you can then pick your winner from that almost easily every month, and I think that's a shame when you get to that position.
So you don't vote then, Richard?
I never vote, not on those things. No, because for me, you know who. If I go to the men's manager of the month, I put my vote in. I know who's winning that before I put my vote in. So what's the point? It doesn't change, unfortunately, and I wish it did.
The ones I prefer more is the ones that you actually do within Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like after a match.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I vote on the Arsenal goal of the month. I vote on the
I must admit, as opposed to the
and the Arsenal player of the month. I vote on them, but I won't do any of the Premier League stuff because I don't think there's any point with it. And again, I mean, if you look at Premier League player of the year, and you know who's going, and young player of the year, you're pretty much guaranteed Haaland's going to pick those two up in his pocket before the season ends. And okay, fair enough. You've got to say he's done fantastically, but there are other players out there that are young that have shone as well.
Come on, Eddie.
Okay, they might not have outscored him, but what if you're setting your parameters as goals, then you're not. There's only ever going to be one winner, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a defender who's performed excellently win that. If your parameter is how many the player of the season's the guy who's got the most assists and goals, that's not going to happen. So I'm not sure how you can call it fair because you're judging players using parameters that they won't all fit in.
That's fair enough.
And that's why. But it's quite easy if you go goal. Who scored the best goal of a month? You take it, and it's an objective opinion. Which one did you like the best? And everyone's going to have a different opinion on which. It's not down to the player. It's just down to which player scored it. It's down to which one you like the look of, the build up, the actual goal, and stuff. And we know. I mean, we did it we did it at the end of a couple, quite a few years ago with the goal of the season on Match of the Day. We, as Arsenal fans, we crashed Match of the Day and got Jack Wilshere's goal against Norwich as goal of the season. So it can be rigged, and if you want it to be. So it's I think things. And to be honest, a lot of these end of year awards, the media and players and managers do tend to, some of it's lazy. Some of the voting is lazy.
And do you vote?
Personally, no.
Fair enough.
Something like that. So, but as Richard said, you know, you look at the managers in the ladies and men's football. Once you see the 4 or 5 names that you know straight away, it's either going to be straightforward that manager, straightforward that manager. With the players, which is a bit different, and like that. So it all depends on what they've done in that match to deserve that award and things like that. So personally, as I said, sometimes votes are rigged. Regarding the PFA one, I'm not sure if you noticed that all it asked. Well, I'm not sure who the PFA representative for Arsenal is, but as I said, all the players can't vote for Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, sorry. They can't vote for him, so they have to vote for someone else, and so on from each club. They can't vote for Harry Kane if he's a Spurs player, something like that. So all votes will be counted and things like that, and then at the end, and sometime round about when the London Marathon's on each year, it's normally that same evening in a top hotel in the West End, and things like that, and they have the award ceremony then, and then they announce it the next day. Then you see the highlights on Sky.
Yeah, because I mean, I think.
So that's my point regarding the voting side. Voting side.
Fair enough. Right, because we're going to wrap up very soon.
Yeah, I think.
Do you think it should be mandatory to have women managers in WSL?
My final point is to any viewer, for anyone who's around the Bournemouth area tomorrow, the Arsenal under-21s are in action tomorrow in their playoff match against Reading. Kick-off 7:00. As I said, free of charge.
Yeah.
Not sure what the lineup's going to be. So if any Arsenal fans that are in the Bournemouth area, whether they're on the chat or they listen to this broadcast that we guys do every Thursday, feel free to tag along. Personally, I will be going myself, and I'll see what happens, and I'll give updates regarding the goal scorer, team news on the Arsenal group that's run by a certain Gooner. And I'm not sure if Richard's on the group, but a certain fan that she knows, of which it's been stressful in the last few weeks because people are moaning about tickets, but that's a different issue. That's nothing to do with us. So I'm not going to go into that. So being like that. So any Arsenal fans that are in the Bournemouth area, feel free to pop down to Bournemouth tomorrow evening.
Shame I live in N9. God, what a place to live in,
And that's my roundup. That's my roundup for the show for tonight.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly point out, FA Youth Cup, which is on Monday, it's going to be streamed live on Arsenal.com. But I didn't.
Oh, that's good.
Time. Yeah, but it's it'll probably be about 7:00 or something. I'll double check on that, guys. But it'll be streamed, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be about 7, 8 o'clock, won't it? Because they're on. Because
that should be a good match as well. As I said, should be a decent crowd at Vicarage Road.
Yeah. Do you think it should be mandatory to have women managers in the WSL to encourage more women managers, or is it just unrealistic?
Sorry, but as I said, it should be a decent crowd at Vicarage Road.
Yeah. Let's hope so. It's always good if you can get to. I mean, I live in Portsmouth, so it's not always realistic for me to get to matches down in London, but I try as often as I can, and it's always good to support every level of the club. So if you can, and you can get down there and you can support the academy players and whatnot, do it. It's well worth it. and you get to see some up and coming talents as well. I think it probably is unrealistic because you can't force a league to have a certain amount of women. I think you risk alienating people, and I think having more women managers in the WSL is better. It's better, but because we know of the troubles that have gone on in America regarding men coaches and bits and pieces, and it's not all men, but there are some, and so but you've got to be able to do the job. If you haven't got the qualifications and you're not up to it, then you don't get the job. It's got to be done on merit.
Yeah.
And I think there are plenty of women, Emma Hayes, Serena Wiegman, are showing actually that women coaches are technically very good, and hopefully that will encourage more women to try their arm management. It's just that it will take time, and as long as there's no blocks to them doing it, then I think it's a good. It will come naturally. You just have to make sure that there are no blocks within the system that stops prospective women coming into the management side.
Well, Jonas has taken it one step further. He actually said that he'd like to see female managers in the men's game.
And it's something it's something I've said before. If somebody's good enough, why not? I mean, as an England fan, I'd take Wiegman to take the men's England men's team on immediately. I think she's got a skill set that
tactically, she's got
and she would get them well prepared and bits and pieces, and I think it has to be based on quality and ability. If the ability and quality is there shouldn't be any reason to. And well, you look at the number, and we've said this before. I think we've mentioned it before, and I will mention it. How I think the FA is inherently racist, and I know I used to ref non-league, and they will not investigate certain things, even if as a ref I reported it. But even though they have these campaigns, that what they actually do behind the scenes sometimes isn't very good. And then other times when they do, the body that oversees it kicks it out, even when it's clear and obvious. Like there was a case the other week where we caught, I think it was caught non-league or manager. He was up on 18 charges, and the misconduct panel, independent panel, chucked 18 of them out and said he wasn't a conscious racist.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Sorry.
So even if when they do it,
it's
when they do step up to the mark, they don't step up to the mark enough. I don't think. But
the youngsters.
He was telling Asian players that did they eat curry? Did they have curry? Curry pizza, and there was all sorts of nasty vile abuse. But again, I mean, how many top level in the English league, through the divisions, black managers are there, Asian managers. So if there's a trouble there, how are you going to get women into
there
the men's? Because there is obviously an equality problem. And it doesn't matter how, because you don't know how good a person is until you see their work on the pitch. And I mean, to be honest, there's some managers out there shouldn't even or ex-managers who shouldn't have ever gotten near managing a team in the first place. But that's
life.
I think I'd like to see the FA system overhauled so that everyone got a fair shot. But we'll say, I think we're a long way off that, and in some cases, I think that organisation is still in the early 1900s in the way it deals with things. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, and sorry you missed us. Tired? Yeah, thank you, Tired.
Okay.
It's always appreciated. Best person for a manager's job for me. Thank you. Just if you might come up down with the kids. What time's the kickoff? That was Tired. So I think that's to you, Emerson.
Oh, what for the youth match? I mean, for the under-21 match is 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah,
at Bournemouth.
So 7 o'clock at Bournemouth for anyone who wants to get down there for that match and is in the area and able to go and support them and cheer them on. It'll be appreciated. And what we got there? That was Tired. We've got, to be fair, Southgate can do it.
Bless his heart. Yeah, he can do it.
Yeah, she
is. She really is.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, there aren't many out there better that you'd want as an international manager, because she knows how to get a team ready for a tournament and to get to the how to win the tournaments as well. So she's a pretty decent manager. Right, we've been going for an hour and a half. Yeah. And there's no more comments after that one. So
thank you very much.
Right, thank you for your time, Emerson. Thanks, Ange. And
no problem. Anytime.
Get you back on again soon, and we can talk more about.
And don't forget, just a reminder again. Don't forget the UEFA Women's Champions League draw next Friday, 11 o'clock our time, and it'd be interesting to see who we get to draw. But we can talk about that the following Thursday. Anyway, because obviously we won't know who we get until then.
But it will be on the UEFA site, won't it, as usual?
Yeah, and Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
And good luck with tomorrow's match. Hopefully.
Thank you. And I will see if a certain player will play tomorrow.
All right. Take it easy, everyone, and thank you for your support and everything as usual.
Yep, and have a good weekend, guys, and speak to you all soon.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.